So, today was a pretty rough day out here on the water, but now it's pretty nice and calm. Most of the day it was pretty blustery, and I kept running into the problem with my tender running up against the dock and getting the rub rail damaged. So, since we had to move the neighbor's boat, his tender for his 43-foot yacht closer towards me, that meant me having to put mine up on the dock, which isn't a big deal, but I thought, it's going to suck at night because it's going to be in the way and someone might trip over it not watching what they're doing. I can just think of all kinds of things that could happen. So I decided to run my spinnaker pole, or my spar, off the side and attach the tender to it. And here's how I did it. Coming up forward here, see I got this yellow line. That's the foreguy. And that runs all the way back to that winch, and then there's a like a compression stop underneath it. Has little teeth in it, holds the line in place so I can keep it good and taut. And then you can see here I've got the topping lift attached so that I can run the pole pretty horizontal, pretty level. I put a block on the end, and then I put the tow line for the dinghy, or the tender, through the block, back to the aft winch, and to the cleat, so it's tight. But just tight enough, not super, super tight. Want a little bit of slack in it so it can, breathe, I guess you could say. And then I have the aft line for the dinghy following the foreguy back here to the main cleat on the foredeck. And what it does is it holds the smaller boat considerably far from the hull so that when the weather comes and it gets really rolly out here, which it sometimes does, then it's not going to come crashing into the side of the boat. That works out a lot better, I think. Not to mention it kind of demonstrates some of my seamanship skills. So there's the spinnaker pole, and this spinnaker pole is really cool because it's got an actual female coupler that's attached to a track on the mast. Yeah, I think that works out a lot better. So I'll come around aft. You can see a little bit more about what's going on here. See, I got that works really well. And now that bright yellow line should show up pretty good even in the dark. So, but if anyone's coming this close to the boat at night, they deserve to be clotheslined. I'm not supposed to be getting that close. But this is how I plan to store the dinghy when I'm at anchor. It just, with a fiberglass boat, the last thing I need is to have the glass smacking against the glass of the yacht, damaging both. And I already had to fix the rub rail. If you're actually looking at the side, I had to fix. I don't know what it is about these smaller tenders, like the 8-footers and 10-footers, but they don't usually have anything substantial to make that lip all the way around the edge where the rub rail is located have any kind of substantial backing. There's no wood or anything. So what I did is I keep spare pieces of wood from leftover from other projects, because I never throw things away like that. Just little pieces of scrap wood, because you never know just exactly how you could use it. It can always come in handy, especially hardwoods, which is what I used. It was a square piece of hardwood that was about probably 1.5 feet long, and it was about I would say probably 1.5 inches thick, and it fit just perfectly underneath that lip of that fiberglass. And so I bolted it through to hold it in place, and then I re-screwed the metal trim for the rub rail into it through the fiberglass and into that piece of wood. And then I took a hammer and I tapped all that rubber back into that rub rail, and now it looks pretty good. It looks almost as good as the other side that wasn't damaged, so you can barely tell that there was anything wrong with it. And then on the other side, I'll do a similar thing with wood, so I can put oar locks on there. I do plan to get a small outboard for it, but right now I'm just gonna worry about getting the oars cleaned up and ready to go. So oars are fine for around here anyway. If it's really rough outside, I probably wouldn't be using the dinghy anyway. I just stay on board. I tend to kind of play it safe. I don't take a lot of unnecessary risks. But yeah, there she is, and she just stays in the same spot now. And even when it was really rolling out here before, I mean, it wasn't that bad. So for the boat and the dinghy, so I think that'll be fine. I mean, this sailboat is like 3/4 ton displacement. So even having this spar hanging off the side with that lightweight little boat on there, it's not going to hurt anything. It's not going to tip the scale in one direction or the other. So it frees up space on the dock also, even alongside the dock. I'm going to actually come down here so that I can show you another angle. Yeah, that works pretty good. So for you sailboat folks out there, you want to store your dinghy this way, this is a good way to do it. It's safe, for both boats. Great for at anchorages or on breakwalls like this. If you're going to be storing it, the boat here for any period of time. There's a seal out there in the water watching us. Funny little suckers. I'm going to come around just back this way to the end of the dock. Okay. And there we go.